Welcome back to News and Views on Salam Media. Our next story takes us to the heart of East Africa, where Rwanda is preparing for a significant political event. President Paul Kagame is on course for a fourth presidential term, a move that has sparked a range of reactions, both within Rwanda and also internationally. Rwanda, very, very, very important player in Africa. They are one of the countries that the continent looks upon as one of the rising, stars of the continent, whether, technologically, economically, and just the advancement of the continent. And in a bit, we're going to be joined by journalist Adhan Tashobi, is a Rwandan journalist who's going to be giving us insight onto the appointment of Paul Kagame on his fourth presidential term. And as I'm hearing from my producers, Adhan is joining us via telephone. Hello, Adhan. Thank you so much for joining us. Welcome, Salam Media.
Hello, thank you so much for having me.
I think first and foremost, if you can start by giving us some context on presidential, incumbent right now, Paul Kagame's tenure and his influence in Rwanda's political landscape in the previous 4 years, and the outlook and expectation in the next 4 years with him remaining in the top seat as the president of Rwanda.
His influence goes beyond, 1994 when the RPF came to power. He's such a prominent figure in Rwandan politics, that's for sure. He's been in power since 2000. His party came to power through a liberation struggle in 1994. He first became the president, and then he became president in 2000. And he was first elected in 2003. And that's when he has been in power since. And such a prominent figure.
I want to touch a bit about, the general reaction within Rwanda to the news that, Kagame has secured his fourth term. I mean, he's been president for 24 years, 115 days and counting. It's going to be another 4 years with him at the helm. What are the people of Kenya saying? What are the reactions? A lot has also been said about, the elections themselves, and if they've been, fair and transparent. The accusations of rigging that has been suggested by many. Just the general reaction to the return of Paul Kagame for another 4 years after serving for 24 years as president of Rwanda.
To be exact, it's actually 5 years. The constitution initially, the constitution that was changed in 2015. Rwanda's presidential terms was 7 years, and it was cut down to 5 years, starting with the next one. So the next president, of course, going by the figures from the National Electoral Commission, it will be President Kagame, who already has 99.1%, and the other two candidates could not even get 1%. So surely, with the remaining 2 million votes out of 9, we can tell that the next president will be Kagame. So he will serve for 5 years. And means he will only be allowed to stand for one more time. And he will call it a day. Rwanda will definitely have another president in the next 10 years. But before we get there, the reaction in itself, it's something that was seen even during campaigns, even before campaigns. When I was talking to one of the presidential candidates, the opposition leader of Green Party, he told me, look, I was expecting to win, but still, you could call it through the campaigns and the turnout on our campaigns, much as we had some crowds, they pulled some crowd, but you could tell that people were just listening in for the sake of understanding the other version of the politics. It was more of a celebration. And when people were voting, they were voting there was some sort of, to show a sense of gratitude to the president who has, brought the country from literally the ashes. in 1994 when Rwanda lost over 1 million people to where it is today, like you said in your introduction, becoming one of the key players in the African politics and the regional politics itself. From 1994, actually from 2000, when he first became president, to date, Rwanda has been ranked one of the fastest growing economies by the World Bank and doing business reports. And he has quite done a lot for in terms of infrastructure and doing business environment, foreign direct investment, education, healthcare through universal health insurance. So the whole electoral process was more of showing gratitude to the man that has done what Rwanda is today. And that's why, we had over 99% turnout actually for people to vote, the majority becoming, first-time voters, over 2 million young people voting for the very first time. And it was such a mood, and even the polling stations were designed in such a way that it was more of a wedding than just exercising civic rights.
Mm. And I want to take a look at some of the opposition parties and the political activists and how they've responded to this development. As I mentioned before, a lot has been said about just how the elections have been ran. Others are saying they haven't been as transparent. Elements of vote rigging. Just the opposition parties. What are they saying about this overwhelming landslide victory by Paul Kagame?
At least we've not had reports of vote rigging and things like that. So the entire organization of observers from either SADC, COMESA, East African Community, and other observers are going to be holding their press conference this morning, but we managed to speak to some of them before yesterday, and they said it's the most peaceful electoral process they have observed in so many years. The only issue that has come into the media before the campaigns themselves is some people, initially there were 9 presidential aspirants who handed in their nomination letters to be president, but there were a range of requirements, and about 6 of them did not fulfill. Only 3 fulfilled, including the incumbent president and then the opposition figure of Green Party, Frank Habineza, and Philippe Maimana, an independent one. When he voted, Frank Habineza told us that he would be getting 55%, and he was hoping to get more members of parliament from the current 2 that he has in parliament, 20. But when the results came out, he was the first one to admit that, look, considering what Rwandans have voted, we could tell that it's what was coming, and he congratulated the winner. Same for the independent candidate. The issues of vote rigging were not reported anywhere. It was more open for the observers, and the observers we talked to, they said it was the most peaceful first test. The voting stopped at 3 p.m. and by 10 we had the results from the 75% of the votes tallied.
I want us to take a quick break, but when we come back, I want us to, just to take a look on some of the major issues facing Rwanda today, and just to assess the fact that after 23, 24 years, is Paul Kagame still the man, who can address some of these issues that, Rwanda has been struggling with himself at the helm for the past 24 years. But we will take a look at that after this short break.
It's a wonder how kids get anything done these days. With all the distractions, when do they even get time to study? As a mother, all I can really do is make sure they have all they need to perform at their best. That's why I choose to include Sunfoil triple refined pure sunflower oil with every meal I make. Naturally cholesterol-free and approved by the Heart and Stroke Foundation as part of a balanced eating plan. So whether I'm cooking, frying, or baking, I know every dish will be a wholesome one. Sunfoil, now we're cooking.
Are you planning a wedding, birthday party, corporate event, or any special occasion? Kani's Catering Services got you covered. Our catering services are here to elevate your event to unforgettable heights. From tantalizing appetizers to mouth-watering main courses and desserts, our culinary creations are crafted with passion and precision to delight your guests' taste buds. Our spit braai is a talk of the town. Indulge in succulent, tender meats, slow roasted to perfection over an open flame. Kani's Catering Services chefs bring creativity and expertise to every dish they prepare, ensuring that each bite is a culinary masterpiece. We take care of your guests while you relax and enjoy every moment of your function. Whether it's plated meals to a simple buffet, we are on top of it all. Ready to start planning your perfect event? Get in touch with us today to discuss your catering needs and request a personalized quote. Let us take your event to the next level with our exceptional catering services. Kani's Catering Services, situated at number 373 Jabundlovu Street, Pietermaritzburg. Call now 033 342 3511 or email us on info@kanis.co.za. For Pietermaritzburg and surrounding areas only, visit www.kanis.co.za.
After the recent attacks on Gaza, many families have been displaced with their homes left destroyed. Through your donations, our teams are on the ground in Gaza, providing support and delivering necessary aid to families affected. The people of Gaza need your help. Give hope. Donate today to Penny Appeal South Africa. www.pennyappeal.org.za 031 1100 573.
We are here on the ground with many appeal organizations in Gaza.
Discover the Africa of your dreams and surround yourself with her spectacular beauty. Relax beneath her serene sunsets and explore wildlife at its natural best. It's where the pride of Africa comes together. The Kwantu Private Game Reserve. Get to know the Big Five or cruise on an elephant safari game drive. Interact with lion and tiger cubs and enjoy world-class halal cuisine while we pamper you during your 5-star stay. Indulge in the true African experience. For reservations, call now on 042 203 1400 or visit kwantu.co.za. The Kwantu Private Game Reserve, the place of gathering.
Contact Lenasia Livestock and Poultry for all your sadaka, akika and kurbani requirements. We offer clean, hygienic abattoir style and refrigeration facilities. Sheep, goats and cows are available at competitive market-related prices, direct to the public. We slaughter, slice and distribute on your behalf. But that's not all. Introducing Meat Masters Halal Butchery, our sister company situated on our farm in Lenasia. Unbeatable prices on lamb, beef and chicken. Lenasia Livestock and Poultry. Livestock is our business. We are Sanha approved. Telephone 011 857 1774. Call now.
Connect and stay ahead with Salam Media. This is Salam Media coming to you live from South Africa.
Welcome back. You're still tuned in to Salam Media. The time is 23 minutes past 8. And we are still having our focus to the heart of East Africa, which is Rwanda, where the current president, Paul Kagame, has, garnered himself another term in office for the next 5 years. And we're still talking to Adan Tashoba. He's a Rwandan journalist, just to get some insight on the general reaction and just throwing forward to the next 5 years of Paul Kagame's reign as president of Rwanda. Adan, thank you so much for staying with us. And before we went to the break, I just wanted us to take a look at some of the long-term challenges that Rwanda has been faced with. I think it's not a secret, and we should give credit where it's due. That Paul Kagame has stuck to a long-term stability-based growth strategy that has worked for Rwanda. He has made, really good progress when it comes to digital and rural transformation. But I'm sure there are challenges, that, Rwanda still faces. What would you say are those key challenges? And if, they still believe, yes, he did win the elections with a landslide victory, but is there still belief that with those key challenges that you're going to mention for us, that President Paul Kagame is still one that still has the ability to take Rwanda where it currently is, which is, very, very good and inspiring for an African country to be where it is, but to another level, where it can become a global competitor in world politics and just the geopolitical sphere of the continent and of the world?
Certainly, there are challenges, economic challenges, making sure that people have money in their pockets. There's some level of inflation. The performance of the Rwandan francs to US dollar has quite gone down. I think in 2017, the exchange was about $1 to 800 Rwandan francs. Now it has gone to 1,300, close to 1,400. That's an issue. There are challenges of, people getting issue of jobs and stuff. But the major challenge has been security, really, maintaining Rwanda's security since 1994. Most of the remnants of the genocidal, the people who committed the genocide here in Rwanda in 1994, fled to Eastern DRC, and they've been living there since then. They went there, formed political organizations and armed groups, and they've held incursions in Rwanda once in a while. And now, currently, they've been accused, the DRC forces have been accused of working with some of them to bring conflict to Rwanda. That's FDR and other elements. So that's one of the biggest issues. Maybe one of the things people are expecting him to do in the next 5 years is addressing the conflict between Rwanda and DRC and making sure that Rwanda is at good terms with the neighbors, and that's Burundi as well, which has not been at the best level since 2004, 15 rather failed coup in Burundi, and it was accused on Rwanda, especially people who actually attempted that coup, allegedly fled to Rwanda. So that's the biggest issue if you look at it, addressing the conflict between the neighbors, that's Burundi and DRC. Apart from that, there are general issues, economic issues, but socially, Rwanda is on the path of, reuniting the people, and reconciliation has been ongoing since 1994. And the major issue really here is addressing the inflation and also mainly the security situation in the neighboring countries.
And just lastly, before I let you go, looking ahead, the next 5 years, what do you think are going to be, the potential challenges and opportunities for Rwanda under another term of Kagame's leadership? I think one thing that's very, very inspiring is the fact that, the international community has responded quite well to his re-election. I know our president here in South Africa, Cyril Ramaphosa, is also, very, very excited, for Paul Kagame, Rwanda and South Africa maintaining, really, really good, cordial diplomatic relations. But on that sphere, the next 5 years, particularly, you mentioned issues of safety. We know what's happening in the DRC. There's been, issues also with the UK and, some of, the migrant workers coming to Rwanda for asylum. That's been a really, really big issue. Going to the next 5 years, what should be, the world's expectations on how Paul Kagame is going to be, running essentially what could be his last term in office?
Certainly, mentioned addressing the conflict, the security situation with its neighbors, Burundi and DRC. We're also looking at the international relations. You mentioned South Africa, the relations with South Africa. Currently, we understand that for an ordinary Rwandan like me to travel to South Africa, it's a very tough one. You have to have either a diplomatic passport or a service passport. Otherwise, you cannot get a visa to South Africa. That's an issue that started, I think, around 2012 when the relations between the two countries went south. But there's been a good recovery to that. President Ramaphosa and President Kagame have had cordial conversations, very good relations. And then there have been efforts to restore that diplomatic relations, to putting it to normalcy and making sure that ordinary passport holders can have travel to South Africa. And many Rwandan students in South Africa, but most of them end up acquiring service passports to be able to study in South Africa. So that's regards South Africa and Rwanda. But for the three heads of states, the relations are good. Even their understanding of the conflict in DRC has sort of, I think in the previous conference, President Kagame said that the understanding is common. They're on one page and they're working together to address that. So the other issue that seems the opportunity we're looking at is with the new sports infrastructure being put up in Rwanda, we're likely to see a lot of sports tourism in addition to the wildlife and tourism in Rwanda and the rest, natural tourism in Rwanda. So we're going to see numbers of tourism revenues going up and other sectors, the economic sectors, and probably the inflation will be brought down in the next 5 years.
All right. I think we're going to leave it there. Thank you so much, Adan, for your valuable insight into the current political climate in Rwanda. We appreciate your expertise and perspective on this very, very critical issue. As I mentioned, Rwanda, a very, very important player in the continent, and I'm sure we'll be keeping a close eye on how the next 5 years unfold. We're going to leave it here for now. Thank you so much. Really appreciate it.
Appreciate your time. Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Well, there you have it there. We're going to take a quick break, but you should stay with us as we continue to bring you more engaging and informative content right here on News and Views. We'll be back after this short break.